will be giving a presentation about the Advancing Net Zero Volunteering team. Before we move to the slides, how many of you have heard before about the Advancing Net Zero Volunteering team? Hands up. Okay, only a few. So we're at a good place to share more information about the platform. So the Advancing Net Zero Volunteering team is a non-profit platform, consistent and also driven by professionals from the UAE to support and accelerate the decarbonization of the built environment. We aim to create a platform where we can share knowledge, information, know-how, but also serve as a think tank for both the private and the public entities. Our goal is to support the decarbonization journey in the UAE and let me just, yeah, it's moving on. So to achieve decarbonization goals by 2050, where we aim to be net zero within the built environment, both the operational carbon as the embedded carbon. So, I don't know if there's a mic so I can walk a bit, or is it okay? Yeah. Thank you. So when we zoom out a little bit and look at the global level, we see that there is a more focus on net zero and decarbonization. We have over 140 countries that committed or proposed to net zero targets. At the same time, we see that the UAE has defined a high-level pathway towards net zero by 2050. At the same time, we see scientists, but also experts, raising alarm bells on the pace of decarbonization that's happening in the market. There's a red flag raised by the IPCC in 2023 on the climate change impact. More recent publications from the International Energy Agency, but also from the International Renewable Energy Agency, they stated that we need to triple the amount of solar, of renewables, and we need to double the rate of energy efficiency from 2% to 4% to be able to contain global warming within the 1.5 degree Celsius as committed in 2015 in Paris. So why buildings? Why do we focus on cities? Because cities are responsible for actually having 60% of the world population is living in cities. And in the previous sessions we heard about waste. Cities are responsible for 50% of the waste. 75% of the global CO2 emissions is due to the activities in cities. The buildings, construction are responsible for almost 40% of the CO2 emissions, mainly driven by cooling, where we see 70% of the total energy consumption in the UAE is due to AC air conditioning. Transportation is also a very important factor, where we see that the transport contributes to around 22% of the CO2 emissions. So how are we planning to support this journey? We aim to create a platform where we can share knowledge, information, know-how. We advocate on policies, on regulations to support the transition towards a net zero carbon built environment. We share knowledge, we publish papers, studies, along with subject matter experts to raise more awareness, because it's not very long back that net zero became high on the agenda. So there's a lot of lack of, let's say, gap in terms of information, expertise, and lessons learned. So we aim to do that by a group of more than 100 professionals from the industry, divided over 5 groups. So we have a group of experts that is focusing on the buildings. And these experts have their own full-time jobs somewhere else, but they're all volunteering and putting in their efforts and their expertise and know-how to support the local market transitioning into a net zero built environment. So the other group, we have industry and manufacturing, we have transport and mobility, we have communities and infrastructure, and we have an awareness group. So the platform is less than 2 years old, so we didn't start very long back in 2023. And when we established the platform with all these subject matter experts, we worked on a few projects related to buildings, to industry, and to communities. The result from last year was the publication of 2 white papers. These white papers were based on net zero readiness surveys conducted in the industry and in the communities sector. The publications can be found online at the website of Advancing Net Zero, so feel free to visit our website and download the information. Our awareness team did a great job also to facilitate a platform at key events in the UAE during the COP last year, for example, during the World Future Energy Summit and other events where the members of the volunteering team had a stage to present the outcomes of the studies. At the moment, the buildings group finalized the paper that will be published later this month. It will be a joint event with the Clean Energy Business Council. And the paper will be talking about deep retrofit. So the volunteers have developed a white paper about the impact of deep retrofits towards net zero and what are the pros and cons. So stay tuned, and as soon as the publication is launched, we will also add it to our website. So why are we here then? Sorry, we have also one slide on, just to give you an impression of the events that the volunteers took place in. So various key events where you can see the volunteers in action. So why are we here then? That's because we have good news that we started also a hospitality team. So within the buildings group, we have now a team of professionals from the hospitality sector, because the hospitality sector also plays a key role in decarbonization. It's also a major contributor to the local economy, so it's a very important sector. The members of of the hospitality group are here, so we have a very diverse team of experts from different backgrounds. And one of them, Miloš, is sitting here. Mohammed, I've seen him also here from Minor. Miloš will be presenting also later on about Accor, what they have done in terms of decarbonization. So at the moment, these professionals are working on 2 deliverables. So one deliverable will be a white paper based on a survey that is being conducted with hotel owners to understand their awareness when it comes to net zero, when it comes to decarbonization, but also on the willingness to invest and support hotel operators, because you need all the stakeholders, to join hand in hand to deliver on our commitments. The other deliverable will be a white paper talking more technically on retrofits based on a survey that was done by Accor already across the globe, where the team of Accor received responses from more than 2,000 hotels. So we thought this is a very valuable input. The effort is already done. Let's build on that, because if you want to conduct a survey around the globe with thousands of hotels, it's a huge effort. So why not use already what we have and try to build on that and further enhance it for the market. So that's the aim of the hospitality group. We just started a couple of months back, so we still have a lot of work to do. But yeah, we have very passionate volunteers that are putting their efforts. And again, like we said, why hospitality? Because it's a very important sector. If you look at, for example, on a global level, travel and tourism is a key driver for prosperity, accounting for almost roughly 10% of the global GDP as an industry. Dubai alone last year had more visitors, adding to almost, I think, 12 or 13, yeah, 12% of the GDP in the UAE. At the same time, we see also opportunities for the hospitality sector. You see that, for example, the global ecotourism is expected to grow to approximately 334 million or even billion US dollars actually by 2027. So we can, on one hand, decarbonize, we can operate our properties more efficiently, and at the same time, without compromising on our goal or our operations. And I think in one of the panels, someone asked the question like, what's the cost of taking action? But it's also what's the cost of not taking action? Because you might miss on the opportunity that you have in terms of eco-tourism. I think that's the bell? Perfect. Thank you.